Yes, welcome back to the program. And now we join you live on Facebook as well as on our YouTube channel at Salam Media and Al Ansar in Durban, Pietermaritzburg, as well as our satellite live broadcast stream. Now, there's been some worrying developments in terms of the water levels in South Africa. Levels at the Vaal Dam have continued to plummet this week, prompting the Department of Water and Sanitation to call for water to be used sparingly. I'm joined online by Sputnik Ratau, the Director of Communications at the Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
I can't hear you, unfortunately.
I'm saying good morning. Welcome to the program. Can you hear me now?
Good morning, and thank you for inviting us.
All right. So tell us the situation that we have in the country right now. Uh, what is the dam levels and why should we be saving water?
Well, yes, the dam levels, you must remember, are affected by the fact that at the end of April, that was the end of the summer rainfall season for the inland provinces. So the rainy season is over. We're going to start seeing a decline in most of our um, systems, and that is why even the integrated Vaal River system is affected, and it has begun to come down. And we can see that if we look at the Vaal Dam as a perfect example, which is an iconic dam in the country, it is standing now at 48.9%, and it is just below 50%, and it's very early towards the winter. So that is a source of concern because it means that our levels are much lower than where we were a year ago.
And roughly, what were the levels last year at the same time? We're saying 48.9 now. What were they last year?
Yes, the Vaal Dam last year, this time was at about 70.8, which is quite huge. And when we look at the integrated Vaal River system as well, which is a combination of the 14 dams that make up the integrated Vaal River system, last year, this time it was at 73.7. Right now, it is at about 66.6, which is a drop of about 6 to 7%. 6 to 7% in terms of volume of water is quite a huge amount. Remember that the integrated Vaal River system also includes the biggest dams in the country, your Harib and your Grootdry, the Vaal River, the Vaal Dam, and so on. So yes, we are seeing a drop as we go on.
The plans that government has in place, do we have any idea if we will have new dams built and to capture more water? We know that we are using more. The population is growing. In the economic zones of Gauteng, for example, are becoming bigger all the time. Are there any plans to build new dams?
Look, that is a part of our normal day-to-day work, to look at new sources of water, to see whether we can be able to build new storage facilities and so on. And yes, the issue of new dams is also on the table. That is why it is important for us to continue doing our planning, to continue doing our feasibility studies, to look at where we can be able to. And when we look at it, it's not just a question of the new dams, but it is also a question of enlarging some of the dams, raising some of the dam walls, your Glen Williams, your in the Western Cape, your Hazelmere in KZN. But we're also looking at new dams, particularly in areas like your Eastern Cape, which has got serious drought issues happening there, as well as to empower others. Your Mpumalanga, Limpopo, we know that your De Hoop Dam is one of our newer dams. But it is already in commission. So yes, the issue of new dams is being looked at. The issue of looking at new sources of water, like your groundwater, where it is possible. But obviously, we have to take groundwater with a lot of caution, because if we over abstract our groundwater, we can get into other issues of land subsidence and so on and so forth. So we've got to combine all of that in our planning to make sure that we ultimately still safeguard the environment and the country, whilst ensuring that the security of supply continues.
Mm-hmm. And finally, now, what is the message to the South African community as we reach these low levels of water?
In the ultimate, we are caught between a rock and a hard place. Remember that with the advent of COVID-17, the basic principle is for us to continue to wash our hands regularly with soap and water. So we are encouraging people to use water. But at the same time, we're saying our dam levels are beginning to go down. So let us also conserve. So it implies that there needs to be a combination of the best practical hygienic standards and practices of washing hands with soap and water, and yet we must not let that water run off, uncontrollably. Otherwise, we're going to put a strain on our systems. So the issue of water conservation, the issue of non-pollution, those are very critical issues for us to look at.
Mr. Sputnik Ratau, the Director of Communications at the Department of Water and Sanitation, thank you so much for your time this morning and for bringing us up to speed with this rather unfortunate situation once again.
Thank you so much for having us on Salam Media this morning.